Praise God. I'm Pastor David Shaw of Monument of Hope and Deliverance, where hope, and I do mean hope, changes everything. We are continuing forth with our reading in the book of Genesis, verses the chapter in 38 and 39 on this evening. And it came to pass at the time that Judah went down from the brethren and turned into a certain Abimelech, whose name was Hera. And Judah saw there a daughter in a certain Canaanite, whose name was Shuha. And he took her and went in unto her, and she conceived and bore a son, and he called his name Or. And she conceived again and bore a son, and she called his name Onan. And she yet again conceived and bore a son, and called his name Shelah. And he was a Jezeb when she bore him. And Judah took a wife from Or, his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. And Or, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord slew him. And Judah said unto Onan, Go unto thy brother's wife, and marry her, and raise up seed to thy brother. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass, when he went in unto his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. Then said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow at thy father's house, till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, Lest peradventure he die also, as his brethren did. And Tamar went and dealt in his father's house. And in process of time, the daughter of Shul, Judah's wife, died. And Judah was comforted, and went up into the sheep herders to Timnath, and his friend Hera, and a Dulamite. And it was told Tamar, saying, Behold, thy father-in-law goeth up to Tim widow's garments off from her. And he put her widow's garments off from her, and covered her with the veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in the open place, which is by the way to Timnath. And she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given unto him to wife. When Judah saw her, he thought her to be a harlot, because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way, and said, Go to, I pray thee, let me come in unto thee. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What wilt his daughter-in-law said, What wilt thou give me, and thou mayest come in unto me? And he said, I will send thee a kid from the flock. And she said, Wilt thou give me a pledge till thou send it? And he said, What pledge shall I give thee? And she said, Thy signet, and thy bracelet, and thy stuff that is in thine hand. And he gave it her, and came it unto her, and she conceived by him. And she arose and went away, and laid by her veil for her, and put on the garments of her widowhood. And Judah went the kid by the hand of his friend, and the Adullamite, and receive his pledge from the woman's hand. But he found her not. Then he asked the men of that place, saying, Where is the harlot that was openly by the wayside? And they said, There was no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah and said, I cannot find her. And also the men of the place. And Judah said, Let her take it to her, lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this kid, and thou hast not found her. And it came to pass about 3 months after that it was told Judah, saying, Tamar, thy daughter-in-law, hath played the harlot, and also, behold, she is with child by whoredom. And Judah said, Bring her forth, and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, By the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, Discern, I pray thee, whose are these, the signet, and bracelets, and stuff? And Judah acknowledged them, and said, She hath been more righteous than I, because that I give her not to Shelah my son. And he knew her again no more. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, that, behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed, that the one put out his hand, and the midwife took the bound upon his hand in scarlet thread, saying, This came out first. And it came to pass, as she drew back his hand, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, How hast thou broken forth? This breach be upon thee. Therefore his name is called Pharez. And afterward come out his brother that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name is called Zerah. Chapter 39. And Joseph was brought down to Egypt, and Potiphar, the officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him of the hands of the Ishmaelites, and he brought him down thither. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he had to prosper in his hand. And Joseph found grace in his sight, and he served him, and he made him overseer over his house, and all that he had he put into his hand. And it came to pass from the time that he had made him overseer in his house and over all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessings of the Lord was upon all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a godly person and well favored. And it came to pass after these things, that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath to my hand. There is none greater in the house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me but thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And it came to pass, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, and he hearkened not unto her, to lie by her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house therefore within. And she caught him by his garment, she saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, she was fled forth. She called unto the men of her house, and spoke unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in the Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her, until his Lord came home. And she spoke unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought into us came into me and to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his garment master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke unto him, saying, After this manner did thy servant to me, this that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's masters took him, put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph, and showed him mercy, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners that were in the prison. And whatsoever they did there, he was the doer of it. The keeper of the prison looked not to say, Think that was under his hand, because the Lord was with him, and that which he did, the Lord made it to prosper. I have just read chapters 38 and 39. We want to thank you for the reading and hearing of God's holy word. God bless you.